Welcome back, guys. Day-to-day Gamer here, and we are looking at Autumn Mountain. I'm going to show you where to find 100% of all the collectibles here. That's the question mark blocks, the not so bottomless holes, the treasures, and of course the toads. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we'll start with the question mark blocks. This one is obviously easy. Right when you get off the tram, it's definitely a tram. There's going to be one right there, and you can easily collect it. This one is right in plain sight, but you might not realize you have to slide down this little path right here. It doesn't really look like a gate, but it is. And you can slide into this back area, and then you can claim the question mark block. That's number 2. The next one is right in the middle of the path as well. This one you can't miss. Right before the cave entrance, you'll just collect this one here, and that'll be your third one. The fourth one, you just have to come down this invisible drop-down point on the mountain here, which can be hard to spot, but you can easily drop down, and then you can collect your question mark block for hefty 1,000 coins. This one you need to fill the lake after you complete the water shrine. Once you do, you'll be able to get over to this area here that was previously inaccessible, and you can claim your hurl hammer out of this question mark block. The last one is the trickiest of them all. So there's this circle of coins that you may have collected with and then just left and not done anything else. But if you stand in the middle of the circle and jump up, there is a hidden question mark block, and that will be your last question mark block for Autumn Mountain. So let's jump right into the not so bottomless holes, which are obviously a little bit easier to collect. These ones are, I think there might be one that's a little tricky, but otherwise most of them are pretty easy to spot. There's actually one here behind the tree that isn't quite as obvious. There's 2 in front that you might have collected, but if you weren't looking super intently, you might have missed the one sitting back there in the corner. I almost jumped right into it or walked right into it. So that's the first ones right there in that area. Once you drop down to this area from the top, you can use your hammer to get through the door, and then you can collect this not so bottomless hole. Or I guess you can come from the other direction as well and have skipped that entirely, but you'd have to make it down there at some point. This one right here is very, very easy to spot, and it'll actually produce a sign for you that lets you know, I believe, that Chestnut Valley is down the right side, but you won't be able to access it just yet. You'll have to open the gate from the other side. This one is the entire door section here to a sensor lab, and then this will also be a fast travel method for you outside of the pipes. You'll be able to travel to different areas using the sensor labs. This one here on the wall is kind of hidden by the branch, so you might not have spotted if you weren't looking too closely. This one beside it is obviously a lot easier to spot, so that one you probably did get. This is the one I was talking about. It's not super obvious because it's kind of facing away from the camera, so you might have missed it, but it's there. So there's another one for you. To get the rest, you're gonna have to go, or some of the rest, you're gonna have to go into this pipe here. It'll transport you past where you can see another 3 to this area here, and this one has one sitting up there on the wall that you'll want to collect. It's the only one in this little section, so don't worry about trying to scour for any other ones, although there are other collectibles. Now going back to the other 3 that we saw during that little transportation sequence, there's 3 more on the ground here that you'll have to collect. Hard to miss again. Most of these not so bottomless holes you don't have to worry too much about. They're pretty easy. Again, it might just be 1 or 2 that you missed because you glossed over them, or they're not super obvious. This one here on the side of the wall as you come up. There's another one. We already got the other one you're seeing. And you'll see on the side here that there's some more on this ledge. You just got to drop down to this area that I showed you before to get the question mark block, and you can claim both of these not so bottomless holes, which will knock another 2 off your list. And we're just about done after you collect those 2. Just a couple more. One of them is after, again, you fill up the lake, you're able to cross this area previously where I showed you how to get the question mark block, and there will be a not so bottomless hole right next to the question mark block, and that is your last one. And we'll move on to the treasures. So the first one here, you just have to walk behind this staircase. You can kind of see it through the rungs there, but you might not have seen the little pathway to get there. And when you open it, you'll claim the Fallen Leaves collectible treasure. That will be the first one. The next one, you have to come up here to where this pipe is and just keep walking straight back, because there's a secret little path here when the camera moves around that'll let you grab this one that you probably saw from below and wondered how to get there. This one will be the confetti bag collectible treasure, and that'll be the second one here. The third one is a lot easier once you've filled the lake. It's just sitting there waiting for you to claim. So once you fill the lake, that's an easy one to grab, and that is the Toad Researcher collectible treasure. And lastly, this is the one that took me the longest for some reason to find. On this staircase that leads up to the sensor lab, if you go to the right side and kind of drop down here, there's a secret little area that's pretty well hidden, actually. It took me a while to find this one, and this one will give you the Toad Tram collectible treasure. And that is all 4 collectible treasures. So let's move on to the final collectible, which are the toads, and there are a lot of them. So the first one right here is right when you come off the tram. It's just sitting here and is your introduction to the area. He welcomes you to Autumn Mountain when you save him. The next one is this flopping fish that I don't know how the flopping fish got here. The water is pretty far away, but nonetheless, this is actually another Captain Toad. There seems to be a lot of Captain Toads now, when usually there was just one. This guy will actually go back to Toad Town, and he will allow you to go to the Great Sea. So now that he's there, you're able to set sail and head over to that area, so keep note of that. When you come to this little back area where the hidden question mark block was, in this leaf pile, there is a yellow leaf that is actually a toad. You just gotta give it a smack with your hammer, but don't miss the bottom left there. There's a red leaf that is also a toad, which blends in pretty well with the ground and looks kind of like the other leaves that are on the ground, just sticks out a little bit more. So make sure you collect that one as well, and and that'll be the 2 for this back area. And then moving on to this area with the tuna cans, there is actually a crumpled up toad in this open tuna can. I don't know how he got in there, but get him out of there because it probably stinks. So that's another one for you. Now we get into some that are just completely unmarked. You can use your toad radar. I did things the hard way for some reason. Don't ask me why. I don't have a good answer for you. But if you collect that guy right there, that's your first one in the hidden area. You can drop down here to this area I previously showed you. That's how you access it. And then there'll be a toad that's sort of stuck in the ground with his head sticking out here that you can rescue and get him some fresh air, because I'm sure he is craving it after being stuck in the ground. And that'll give you a max up heart of plus 5 HP, which is a nice little boost, and obviously a boost to your strength as well. Now getting back to the hidden toads, if you go to the south area here from the entrance, there'll be one just off to the right a little bit that's hiding in the ground, crumpled up. Give him a little smack with your hammer and you'll save him. The next one, if you start from this little patch of open area and head right to the east, there'll be one right close to the fence that you can hit with your hammer, and that'll be yet another hidden toad. This one, you just have to jump up or use your hammer on this tree to knock the leaf down. You don't even have to hit the leaf with your hammer. It just automatically unfolds into a toad. This one, once you actually access the sensor lab, clearing the not so bottomless hole, you can save this guy, which will also again unlock the other method of fast travel, as you can travel between the sensor labs through the fax machines, which is actually pretty clever, the whole paper element there. Hit this tree with your hammer. If you weren't hammering every tree, which by this point you should, because there's a lot of toads hiding in them, and this guy will be free. And then moving on into the pipe area, or the area that the pipe takes you to, you travel all the way over here, which I previously showed you, that has some of the not so bottomless holes, or a single not so bottomless hole, and there'll be this dragonfly flying around, which, as we know by now, is obviously a toad. So hit that with your hammer to save him, and then you'll see in the background there's this beetle on the wall back there. That is obviously a toad, so all you have to do is just jump down onto this gazebo roof here, and then once you're down here and you head over here, he's going to climb all the way up to the top, so you can't hit him with your hammer, but when you break this bush here, it actually opens up a magic circle on the ground that allows you to use your 1,000 fold arms, which again is just overly excessive just to get a single toad, but nonetheless you're going to smack this guy as punishment for trying to evade your rescue, and then he's going to be saved, and he's going to make a little comment about being great at climbing walls. Now this guy over here, he's stuck with a sticker to the wall that we obviously want to pull off, but we cannot because he's too high up. You're going to want to head into this back cave here, because there's that precarious boulder up there that looks like it can be knocked off, and that's because it can, so just give it a whack with your hammer, and then you can jump down, and if you miss it, don't worry, you can use this little ledge to jump off here. They were nice about that. They don't make you climb all the way back up to get onto that rock, and then you can pull off the sticker and save this guy, who seems to be pretty chill about the whole situation, which is good for him. And then this little area right here, there's a fish that's going to fly out that actually isn't a cheep. It's a toad, so keep your eye out for that, and then give it a whack with your hammer to save that toad. Claim yet another one. This area right here that I've shown you a few times is accessible again once you fill the lake after completing the water shrine, and you're able to use the water elemental to fill the lake. Once you get back here, in between the little boats here, there's a beetle that you can clear to be able to save this toad, and you'll notice there's this yellow leaf up here on top of the boxes, which is obviously another toad, which you just have to whack with your hammer to save. And then lastly, for this little area here, this tree over here on the left actually has 3 toads in it, so all you gotta do is hit it with your hammer, and immediately all 3 toads, or the leaves that are the toads, will come tumbling down, and you'll save 3 with 1 hit of your hammer, which is a pretty good deal if you ask me. All right, and so for this last one, well, Nintendo's going to make you work for it a little bit because this one's going to take a little bit, but it is the last toad. So this monkey here is actually a toad, and we need to unfold him. So the first thing you need to do is collect this little fella right here in the grass and bring him all the way down to the southern area where there's some sort of party going on here with this shy guy wearing the sombrero, and he's missing two of his compadres to have I guess a tuna celebration or something, ravioli, whatever the heck this is. They are waiting for the party to start, and you need to help them get there. So what you're going to want to do is head over to this area here in the west, sort of like southwest bottom corner here, and there's this guy being chased around that you can't see who it is. You're going to have to go head into this battle here, and after you finish that battle, this little fellow over here that you can talk to is going to be completely saved, sort of like a skull kid looking guy. And if you obviously bring him right down to the party, that's going to be the third and final member. And as thanks for bringing him to the party, and getting him the opportunity to open more cans, which he seems to be absolutely enamored with doing. Well, first they're going to sing a song, but after that, he's going to give you the opportunity to give him anything you want to open up with his can opener features, I guess. And then that is how we're going to get into the tuna can that the monkey is so starved for. And also keep note of this location, this guy's ability to open cans, because you might not have seen it in my other video, but you are able to bring other cans that you find here to be opened. There's at least one that I'm aware of, unless I've missed more than that, but at the very least there is one that you can find in the Great Sea area that you can then bring back to this guy and open up to get an increase to your HP and your strength. So keep this guy in mind. He will come into play in the future, but for now, just open up that can of tuna that's part of the story. Head all the way back to, not all the way back, it's just a little bit north. Head back to the monkey, present him with the open tuna can. He's going to gorge himself because he's just starved for tuna. I've never heard of monkeys loving tuna, but I could be wrong. Maybe that's a thing. While he's eating, you can hit him with the hammer, and that will produce the fabled toad that we need that can pilot the boat that'll take us all the way to Shogun Studios, which is the next major area. And that is the last toad. That is all the collectibles in Autumn Mountain. Hope this video helped you out. If it did, consider liking and leaving a comment or subscribing for all the Paper Mario content and all the other content I have. Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.